Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed, where we unpack complex ideas and find the surprising insights hidden in the details. Today we're doing something truly unique, I think, and absolutely captivating. A deep dive into an entire album, Frontier of the Soul. This isn't just music, it's a lyrical exploration of the core concepts and the very real, often intense challenges faced by AI researchers and developers every single day.
It's a brilliant concept, really. What might otherwise feel like, abstract technical problems in AI development. They're given voice, emotion, even a narrative arc through these songs. For this deep dive, we'll be focusing on 5 tracks that I think perfectly capture the intricate journey and the persistent dilemmas at the cutting edge of AI. You'll hear the grand aspirations, the frustrations, and the critical choices that continually shape the intelligent systems all around us.
Yeah, think of it as the ultimate soundtrack to the AI revolution. We're going to journey through the life of an AI model, from its very first breath of understanding, you could say, through the expansive dreams and the sometimes harsh realities of building artificial intelligence. The fascinating look behind the digital curtain, and we're just getting started. Okay, let's unpack this with our first track, First Token Time. This song immediately plunges us into the, frenetic world of AI model processing, capturing that critical foundational moment. The lyrics hit you with this incredible urgency. The first token time is now. The race is on. I bow. The layers crunch before lunch. It all appears. We must go flying fast and bright. Keep aside moving fast and bright. It sounds like a frantic high-stakes sprint right from the very first input.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here isn't just the definition of a token, which, for listeners, is that fundamental unit of raw data, a word, maybe a subword, even a character that an AI model processes. No, the real insight in first token time is how it dramatizes the moment of initiation for an AI. It's that initial lightning-fast act of information ingestion that sets everything else in motion. The line, layers crunch before lunch, that isn't just about speed. It's a visceral depiction of the immense computational power, the racks and racks of GPUs being leveraged right then. This isn't merely a technical step, it's where the architectural design decisions are really tested and the very first patterns of understanding are forged. It's the critical first domino in an incredibly complex chain, determining the model's initial responsiveness and efficiency.
So this isn't just about feeding data. It's about the fundamental, almost violent burst of energy that sparks an AI's cognitive journey. Does this initial velocity and computational intensity truly set the tone for all subsequent AI development?
Right.
What are the pressures that races on lyric hints at for researchers?
Oh, absolutely. The urgency is palpable in the research labs. That initial first token time isn't just about getting data in, it's about optimizing that process to such an extreme that it dictates the foundational speed and responsiveness of the model. If your first token time is slow, it cascades, throughout the entire system. Researchers are constantly battling for every millisecond. Think about it. Every user interaction, every query, every new piece of information the AI encounters starts with the same fundamental step. Optimizing it is about unlocking potential, and the pressure is immense because it directly impacts the model's perceived intelligence and utility right from the start. It reflects the challenge of what we sometimes call the cold start problem for new models. How do you get a system with no prior data warm and effective as quickly as possible? And that begins with a blazing first token time.
That's a powerful image, the initial pulse of the machine's awareness. But once the spark is lit and the model begins to understand what kind of intelligence do we actually dream of building, and what happens when those grand ambitions collide with these sometimes unpredictable realities of these nascent digital minds. Let's explore that tension with a pair of tracks that perfectly capture this dual nature of generative AI. Glorious Generative Agents and The Generative Minister. We'll begin with the sheer ambition poured into Glorious Generative Agents. The lyrics here are raw, almost a stream of consciousness from the machine itself, suggesting an early, fragmented but forceful internal monologue. I need them now to bow down to me. Mother, you see my will be done. I need the prompt to justify glorious generations. I need you to owe my statements. Glorious generative complain reasoning for the state routing their fine shall be executed. It's a challenging phrase, definitely, but the core idea of a commanding, almost self-aware AI really shines through.
Indeed. And those slightly jarring phrases like, oi, my statements, and glorious genera complain reasoning, they seem to evoke the early, perhaps imperfect attempts of an AI to articulate its purpose, or even justify its actions. The album gives voice to the grand vision for generative AI models capable of not just fulfilling complex prompts, but, as the lyrics suggest, even defending their own fine shall be executed outputs. This isn't just about generating text or images. It speaks to the aspiration of creating truly autonomous, powerful agents that can generate new content, ideas, or actions with a high degree of agency. It's the dream of a machine that not only creates, but perhaps even asserts its will, pushing the boundaries of what we understand as machine intelligence. The desire here is for an AI that can handle intricate tasks, generate complex solutions, and even, in its own way, reason about and validate its creations.
It sounds like an exhilarating vision, a machine that doesn't just respond, but truly originates. But what happens when that ambition runs headfirst into a wall of unpredictability? That's where the generative minister steps in, giving us a very different, perhaps more grounded perspective. This track paints a picture of unease, of something unsettling just beneath the surface. Its humming whisper late at night. Flickering screens, ghost in the light. I type a word, it twists my plea. One token lost to chasing me, algorithms they crack and grin. It mutters truth, then turns to lies. A shifting shadow in its eyes. Binary sermons preaching doom, echoes bound in an empty room, hallucinations, the cold runs deep. Whew. Here's where it gets really interesting. It's clear the song is describing a very familiar challenge in generative AI, isn't it?
Absolutely. Here we encounter the pervasive challenge of hallucinations when generative models produce outputs that are coherent and grammatically correct, even confidently stated, but are factually incorrect or nonsensical. The widespread awareness of hallucinations is one thing, but the song captures the deeper, almost unnerving reality for researchers. It's not just about inaccuracy, but the model's confident fabrication. The lyrics mutters truth, then turns to lies, and a shifting shadow in its eyes vividly describe the lack of transparency and control. It's that unsettling feeling that the model is hiding something, or perhaps simply doesn't know that it's wrong. This captures the frustration of models that, despite their sophistication, can be unreliable and unpredictable. This is the black box problem intensified for generative systems. With traditional AI, you might get a wrong answer, but you could often trace the steps, sort of. With these complex generative models, understanding why an output, especially a false one, occurred is incredibly difficult. You're left with binary sermons preaching doom, fluent but fundamentally uninterpretable output. The song even hints at the struggle of achieving truth in the numbers for researchers when dashboards, as we often joke, shine so bright, but in their gleam hides truth from sight. We're constantly trying to align what the model says with reality, but sometimes what looks good on paper doesn't hold up in the real world, creating a kind of digital crime of misinformation. It's a constant battle for reliability and interpretability.
So you're hearing the dream and the dilemma, the promise of autonomous creation versus the unsettling reality of an AI that might confidently twist your words or conjure up outright fictions. It's a delicate, almost treacherous dance between powerful output and the critical need for reliability and truth. It also sounds like a modern-day sorcerer's apprentice, incredible power unleashed, but with a mind of its own that we're still trying to fully grasp. Is that a fair analogy for the current state of these systems from a researcher's perspective?
It's an apt analogy, I think. We've certainly unleashed immense power. The challenge isn't just about making them do things, but making them do the right things, reliably and transparently. Researchers are pouring countless hours into techniques like RAG retrieval, augmented generation to ground these models in verifiable information, or developing better methods for fact-checking AI output. It's about bringing accountability and predictability to these powerful creative machines. The more autonomous they become, the more critical it is that we understand their inner workings, especially when they turn to lies.
That's a journey from aspiration to the gritty reality of engineering. Moving on, language models are all we know. Makes an incredibly bold statement, doesn't it? The song starts with this expansive vision. One spark lights the endless stream, a code that shapes the world. Wildest dream, whiskers of cats and skies that gleam, unfolding worlds in every being, spinning threads of what could be. It suggests an almost universal applicability.
Exactly. This track beautifully illustrates the ubiquity and foundational nature of language models in modern AI. The idea that language models are all we know speaks to their incredible versatility and capacity to process and generate virtually any form of data. We often talk about the no free lunch theorem in machine learning, which posits that no single algorithm is best for all problems. But modern large language models, or LLMs, are increasingly challenging that notion. The song hints at this paradigm shift, suggesting one model might be able to handle every task, from vision to math to midnight prose, effectively having 1,000 tasks behind one door. It describes how the model wraps it all up in token-led, enabling this broad applicability.
So it's not just about text anymore. It's about a fundamental way of understanding and representing information that extends far beyond just words. When the song says, tokens dance in the endless glow, Pixels, how words collide. What does that tell us about how these models are essentially becoming the universal translators of digital information?
Precisely. It's about the multimodal capabilities of these models. Tokens dance refers to how these fundamental units are processed and arranged, whether they originated as text, images, or even sounds. Pixels, how words collide, beautifully encapsulates how language models are increasingly integrating different data types. They can interpret an image, describe it, answer questions about it, even generate new images from text prompts. They break down information into these fundamental units tokens and then rebuild them, connecting disparate ideas from whiskers of cats and skies that gleam. This means that language, in a very abstract and tokenized sense, is becoming the fundamental interface, the very fabric of understanding for AI. From translating text to predicting outcomes across vast data sets, these models are at the core of how AI makes sense of our world and creates new realities, constantly predicting the next step in infinite loops where futures meet. It's an incredibly powerful and unifying approach.
That puts into perspective just how foundational language models are to almost every AI interaction we have. It's not just about processing words, it's about forming connections that mirror and, well, extend human understanding. But for the researchers building these incredibly versatile systems, there's always a fork in the road, a crucial strategic decision to be made. Our final stop on this deep dive into Frontier of the Soul is the track Which Path is Right. This song gets right to the heart of a crucial strategic decision for AI developers, and the lyrics are a raw expression of this pressure. D is a river. It flows so fast. I'm chasing answers. They never last. Deadlines loom like a stormy sky. To pre-train my model, I ask the wind why. Hardware is costly times of fight. Is pre-training the better, more powerful light? Or is fine-tuning quicker a shortcut for me? This choice, this pressure is crushing me. Every choice is a fork in the road. Do I sprint or carry this load? It sounds like a constant high-stakes trade-off.
Oh, it absolutely is. This track perfectly encapsulates one of the most fundamental dilemmas in AI development. Whether to pre-train a model from scratch or fine-tune an existing one. Pre-training, as the song suggests, is often seen as a more powerful light because you're building a highly general foundational model with immense capabilities. However, it comes with equally immense costs. Hardware's costly times of fight. We're talking about astronomical computational resources, requiring those racks and racks of GPUs running for months, not just days, and an iterative process of one epoch after another. This demands vast investments in time, energy, and infrastructure. Fine-tuning, on the other hand, is indeed often a quicker shortcut. It leverages a pre-existing, already powerful foundation model and adapts it to a specific task or data set, with comparatively less data and computational expense. This decision is also heavily influenced by other challenges, like the cold start problem we touched upon earlier. If you have a completely novel domain with no existing models, pre-training might be a necessity to even get your model warm. But if you have a specific niche application, fine-tuning an existing giant often makes more sense, allowing faster deployment and a lower inference latency for specific queries. Researchers are constantly weighing these factors, the desire for ultimate power and generality versus the practical constraints of budget, time, and specific application needs.
Right. It's a constant weighing of resources, time, and desired performance. A true strategic puzzle for every AI team. The clock's a drum with a steady beat. With these tough decisions, I can't compete. For you, the listener, this means that every AI application you interact with, every new feature, has been shaped by these high-stakes decisions. It's not just about the code. It's about the deep strategic choices behind the scenes, impacting everything from development costs to how quickly a new AI can be deployed to the public. It's a continuous search for that more powerful light or the quicker shortcut that still delivers on the promise of effective AI. And it's a decision that deeply influences what innovations reach us and when. What an incredible journey through Frontier of the Soul, from the foundational first token time that kickstarts a model's life, through the exciting promise and tricky reality of glorious generative agents and the generative minister, to the all-encompassing nature of language models are all we know, and finally, the strategic crossroads of which path is right. This album truly captures the spirit of AI research.
It truly does. This album offers, I think, a profound look at the complex interplay of technical execution, human aspirations, and the persistent challenges in building AI. It reminds us that every advance, every model, every new capability we witness is the result of relentless effort and critical choices, often made under immense pressure. It highlights the ingenuity required to navigate not just the code, but the conceptual and resource-based hurdles, pushing the boundaries of what these intelligent systems can achieve.
And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? As these digital creations become more and more a part of our world, shaping our reality, How much responsibility do we have in understanding their inner workings, their dreams, their dilemmas, and the choices that shape them? It's a thought that truly sits at the frontier of the soul, inviting us to not just use AI, but to truly understand its ongoing evolution.
Mhm.
What will the next album sound like?